What is happening, YouTube? Coming at you today, not from the hilltop, but from home. When I say home, I mean my home in Maryland. But I got something really cool I want to show everybody. I think you're going to be interested, especially all you guys that like to sling arrows. And I'm one of those guys that likes to sling arrows. So what I got today is a new longbow. So I wanted to show everybody this. Just to kind of keep some things going here while we get through the summertime with food plotting up on the hilltop and making water holes for the deer to drink out of and all that stuff. Some of the stuff that you've already seen, we have some other stuff coming up. But I really wanted to touch on this because I know a lot of people that are probably watching this are dyed-in-the-wool archery hunters. I love archery hunting. You know, to me, it's just a phenomenal experience. You know, I was raised rifle hunting, and you know, I did have my father shot target archery back in the 70s as well as some of my uncles, but I really didn't get into archery hunting until I was around 19 or 20 years old. And I started out just probably like most of you out there with a compound bow. And you know, compound bows are great, and believe me, I loved shooting compound bows. I loved hunting deer with compound bows. Shooting a deer with any type of archery equipment, just to me, it just is so satisfying, because it's not only your skill as an archer, but it's your skill as a hunter to get close. You know, to get that deer within, you know, 20, 30 yards where you can put an arrow through it and kill it cleanly. But archery's always fascinated me, especially traditional archery. I remember when I was a kid, my cousin and I would go watch our dads shoot at some place called Penn Valley Archery, and it was awesome. It was an outdoor range, and you know, they shot these recurve bows and with these aluminum arrows, and you know, back in the day, that was the way archery was done. We're talking, you know, the mid 70s. And then I kind of got away from it. You know, learned deer hunting with a rifle. You know, pretty much just go out in the woods and sit in a tree stand on opening day rifle season, and hopefully one runs by you and you shoot it. And that was pretty much my story until I harvested my first deer when I was 17 years old. My uncle drove it out to me, and you know, it come running past me, and bang, I shot it. So, but archery had always interested me. You know, and when I was a kid, I had, you know, a cheap little fiberglass bow. It was nothing special, probably cost, you know, 20 bucks, 10 bucks, I don't know. I don't even know where it came from. I just had it, and I would shoot these little wooden arrows with the crimped on metal point and the plastic veins that would just, you know, they were all shrink wrapped on there or something, and the whole thing would come off. But it had always fascinated me watching the arrow fly, and traditional archery had always been something I had wanted to get into. And I dabbled in it, you know, for the last few years. I got a couple recurves hanging up on the wall, and I'll show you some pictures of it. One of them is my grandfather's. It's made by a company called Black Hawk Bows in McKeesport, Pennsylvania, back in the day, by some dudes called the Cravata Brothers. Anyways, I'll talk about that later. But this is a 64-inch reflex deflex longbow. It draws 48 pounds at 28 inches. My draw length is about 31 inches, so I'm drawing a little over 50 pounds with this bow, which is perfect. It's a great hunting weight. It's made by Wagstaff Archery. It's made from bird's eye maple. I don't know if you can see that. Bird's eye maple and a wood called wangi. I think it's a African or South American hardwood. And it's overlaid with black fiberglass and white accents. And I think the limb cores are bamboo. But great bow. Had a chance to shoot it a few times in the garage. Very quiet, very smooth. Points very easily. And that's the big challenge with traditional archery. You know, not having a sight. There's tons of ways you can shoot these bows. You can use a gap shooting method, a pure instinctual method. There's a fixed crawl method, and I'm learning a little bit about each one, trying to figure out which one's going to be best for me. My goal is to shoot a deer with this fall on the hilltop. So maybe I'll get it on camera. I don't know. I got to really get proficient with this bow to whack a deer, though. You know, I already know that, you know, I'm going to impose my own limitation on how far I'm going to shoot at any deer with this, and that's going to be 15 yards. 15 yards through the woods is a long way. I mean, you know, I've shot a deer with a compound bow 30 yards, and you know, to me it felt like 300 in the woods. It's a lot of air to get through to get to that deer in the woods. So I'm no Fred Bear, and I'm no Byron Ferguson, and I'm no Howard Hill, but I'm going to do my best to get proficient with this bow enough that I can shoot and kill a deer cleanly at 15 yards. That's my goal. So hopefully I'll get that on film and you guys can check it out. But in the meantime, just an update. We got some videos coming up here shortly. Planning fall food plots, doing some clover maintenance and mowing, moving some tree stands around. Tree stand maintenance, replacing straps on the ladder stands that we have, trimming shooting lanes, some of the access trails that we have going into our tree stands. We're going to clean up, and we'll show you how we do that. It really makes it easy getting in and out of your stands, especially if you hunt over some of your food plots like we do, and you don't have to worry about busting deer coming in or out depending on whether you're hunting in the morning or the evening or even the mid-afternoon. So we got some of that coming up. Tractor maintenance, I'm probably going to do a little bit of that. You know, for you guys out there that have tractors, and you know, or maybe you're just getting into food plotting and you need a tractor, we'll talk a little bit about that. And I will tell you right now, if you're watching this and I piqued your interest on tractors, buy bigger than you think you need. And we'll talk more about that later. So a lot of stuff coming up for the fall and throughout the rest of the year. And I have a deployment that I'll be leaving on in September, so I'm trying to get some stuff in there to carry through until I get back later on this year. So again, a shout out to Connor Wagstaff at Wagstaff Archery. I'm going to share this on your Facebook page or your YouTube or whatever, but this is an awesome bow. And Connor went above and beyond to get this thing to me and make this bow as perfect as a custom-made longbow could be. So now I have to do him right by making this a successful hunting bow, and that's all on me. So I'm going to do the best I can, get out there and hopefully shoot a deer with this. But if not, I'm sure I'll just have fun shooting it. You know, the few times that I've shot it over the last day or two just out in the garage has been a whole heck of a lot of fun. And you know, like I said, for anybody that likes to hunt deer with a bow, just that whole image of an arrow flying through the air, to me, is almost, it's the closest thing to magic. I've always been fascinated since I was a kid. So we'll get a little bit more into that as I really start to get into the nuts and bolts of tuning this bow and adjusting the brace height and knock height, and tuning my arrows to shoot the way I want them to. There's just so much that goes into traditional archery, but that's what makes it fun, you know. I mean, if this stuff was just so easy and you went out there and you shot a deer, and yeah, I think it would just become boring, and there wouldn't be any fun in it, you know. I mean, if you have that element of uncertainty and that element of where you really got to have an intimate knowledge of how your equipment works and how to make it work for you, then that just makes it all the more satisfying when you get out there in the woods. Whether you kill a deer or not, or whatever, it's really not about that at the end of the day. It's about getting there, you know, the whole, it's not about the destination. It's about the road you take to get there. So, and that's what this is about, getting back to basics. So I can't wait, and I hope you join me, and we'll see you next time.